What is up, everyone? We'll get started here momentarily once more people join up. This is yet another live design review. I do these every 2 weeks. Used to do them every week, but it got a little bit excessive. And good. I usually wait like a minute before I start these, but while I'm waiting, it says my live stream health is orange. It's not green. Usually it says green, so I don't know if there's a crappy connection issue occurring here. Hopefully it's not bad. So those of you who are waiting, of course, go to the Discord server and go to the review submissions right here and submit the whatever design you have if you want me to review it. A free SVG vector drawing application. I'm not really sure, because I've always used, Adobe Illustrator primarily for something like that. So maybe somebody else can chime in. I know the Photoshop raster-based graphics alternative that's free is GIMP, I believe, but I'm not sure if it does SVG. All right. Good, we got green stream health here, so... All right. So as always, today is just a live design review. I've been doing these for several months now, but basically, I just you come to the Discord server. The link is here in the description of this YouTube video. You join up. It's free. It's just a chat application. It's shown right here, and you go to the reviews. By default, you're right here, and when you join, you go to general. It puts you in this channel, but you have to click on review submissions, and then paste in whatever that it could be a client design that you just did for a client. It could be a portfolio, your own personal portfolio. It could be anything that you design that you want to see. You want feedback on of some sort, and I'll try to be constructive. Now, I usually do this for an hour. And I'll get through as many as I can, and I'll do it in order. All right, so I'm going to start with 404 here and just work my way down. Now, if you submitted before, don't submit the same damn design. At least maybe make sure you've updated it first. I don't want to be reviewing multiple or the same thing twice. Also, don't submit something that you didn't design. That doesn't help anybody. And also. I'm not going to be able to get through all of them because a lot of people end up submitting through this duration of the hour. If you do want me to do your review, no matter what, then do a super chat. The super chat is an icon right here. You click on it, and then you can send. It's not going to let me because Well, I actually can send myself a super chat. Interesting. I'm not going to do it, but put in any amount that you want. Maybe $400, that would be awesome. And then just put in your message and put in your username and then submit it here. And that way I know, whose thing to review, essentially. All right, so go ahead and start submitting, and I will get started. So we're going to get started here. Let me check just the chats real quick, make sure everything is going good. All right, hello, everyone. All right. Usually at the end, I'll answer questions and stuff. So if you have questions, you can submit them and such like that. There's also a YouTube live chat area that you can come here and chat if you don't want to do the YouTube chat over there. All right. So let us get started. Now I'm going to copy this. I always open them up on my other monitor first just because I want to make sure nobody's trolling me and like sending me to porn or something like that. So, all right. No porn. Thank you, 404, for that. Okay. All right. See if you said anything with it. Okay. Nope. All right. All right. So first off, let's see here. We have a pretty standard hero section where we have a photograph background that is the opacity is taken out of it just a bit, and we have foreground elements that they contrast enough. If this was brought up a little bit more with less opacity, it would probably conflict too much, but it doesn't, so that's good. The type's good here. Call to actions are good as well. You can see there's two different types of call to actions, but they're separated visually as one is not filled in. That works. Very simple navigation up here and logo. Everything's good so far from what I see. All right. Interesting type. We have a sticky nav that works. The type works here. Not seeing anything wrong here. This is all pretty solid. Yeah, I really don't have anything negative to say here. This is all very solid. I like the, that's nice. Good image gallery here with hover-based CSS animations that work. Yeah. Nice kind of price card containers that are designed well. Yeah, there's not much. Boy, how long is this? It was just never ending. Okay, we got to the bottom. Everything's solid here. No. Yep, very effective. I like it. There's not one negative thing I can really say about this. So good stuff. Thank you for that submission. I try, when I do these reviews, I try to do them so that I'm not giving you subjective criticism. I'm trying to give you objective criticism, meaning, I'm not trying to just talk about my personal taste, but if there's something that's definitely wrong in terms of design fundamentals, that's what I want to focus on. Because, a lot of design is a lot of design is subjective, in terms of what your personal tastes are. There's no right or wrong. But there are some things that are wrong, definitely, objectively. So that's what I try to focus on. All right, so we got the next one, redswebs.com. All right, this is this dude's website. Okay. First of all, everything is solid here, with exception to this part. It's just kind of thrown up here. There's no margin or padding between this, this button here and this text. Very minor gripe, obviously. So let me just get rid of that part. Yeah, if you really did design this animation, it's vector-based, probably SVG. I can't really tell. Yeah, probably very nice. I like the use of colors and the fact that it's abstract sort of illustration, which is a very popular thing here in 2018 and probably going forward 2019. I think everything. Oh, by the way, this right here, this little thing showing up is from a plugin that I've been using. Let me disable that because I don't want that thing popping up everywhere. If I could find it. Where's my plugins? All right, well, I can't really find it. I'll worry about that later. Well, one thing that I think could be improved is the alignment of this text. You have seamless and easy starting where I think it should be, which is right in line with this reds. And then the websites in online stores, it's kind of just thrown over here a little bit by about 30 or 40 pixels. And then 30 or 40 pixels more starts this blip of text. And so it just feels a little bit jarred and not consistent in terms of alignment. I would just align them up consistently, all on the same column. Outside of that, everything's solid here, pretty much perfect in terms of design fundamentals and getting that all right. Nice search area, good call to action button. All right. Probably try to get this on another line to the side, or if not, push it down a little bit away from the other ones. Other than that, it's just fine. Good type here. It's kind of like a sub headline and a hub headline, separated visually through color, scale, and font weight, which is very good. Looking at this section, everything's solid here. Now this part does need work in multiple areas. This where it says Reds Webs in this blue container, it feels like it needs to be scaled down a lot, so it has padding, and not just thrown on here. Plus, the blue that's being used in relation to reds is kind of making it hard to see. There's not a lot of contrast there, so I would maybe change up the blue to a lighter version. And then unlimited features and support is just black on a darker blue. No, you definitely want to increase that. Change this to white so that it really stands out in terms of contrast. In fact, I just recently did a tutorial or video on using this plugin called Contrast that will allow you to inspect an element and see if there's enough contrast on it. And look, it says fail. So we could choose auto, and there you go. That would be the minimum level of contrast that would be acceptable for this element. But I would say not just gray, push that thing all the way up to white, like that. And then also give it some, honestly, everything from here down to here is great, and then it just kind of looks like this is just, this doesn't belong in this design, in my opinion, the way it's set up. But then we come down here, this is great. Everything's looking solid. Then this line, this headline right here, it doesn't look like it belongs there either. There's not a lot of white space between these elements, and then right underneath it, you know, everything just gets so jumbled right here. So definitely push things down and give it more white space vertically and such. It almost makes me wonder if this is a template or something, because a couple of these areas look like two different designers tackled them. So hopefully that's not the case. All right, everything else is solid though. So thanks for that. All right, we'll do the next one. This is a portfolio design. Yeah, I don't know if that was a template or not. Oh well. Okay, next one. Here we go. So this is remember a design portfolio. Interesting. We have a navigation, but we don't have any type of name or something up here. We'll probably put a name, if not right here, but definitely when there's a sticky nav occurring, just put your name up here. Make that show up. You can do that based on scroll with JavaScript and all that stuff. Other than that, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. This illustration right here, I don't know. It's not bad. I'd say it would be nice if it was, I don't know, something, maybe if it was a little bit more vibrant. It seems a little bit just, I don't know. I don't know what the word would be. It's not really saying much to me. It's not really sticking out. You could probably maybe use this background color, this purplish, for this little shape in the background, and it would kind of bring more attention to it. Other than that, everything looks pretty solid here in terms of type, contrast. Let's see what this contrast plugin says for this stuff. Let's inspect it. Yeah, it does say fail. So if we did auto, it just darkens it just a little bit. So it's very close in terms of getting the contrast right. It is a little bit difficult to read, especially with the lighter font weight right here. All right, everything else pretty solid here. Yeah, you're definitely getting, I'd say this is like 90% of the way there. There's just a few things in terms of the contrast and perhaps improving this illustration over there. Thanks for that submission. All right, Scotty Zen, this is a portfolio, another portfolio here. By the way, guys, is that annoying? I know I have music in the background. Is that annoying at all? If so, I will turn that off. All right. I'll look at your answers after I do this review. By the way, let me check. I have to get up my other page here. Oh, wow. We have 230 people watching. Nice. By the way, everybody, let me see how many submissions we have so far before I get to this review. Oh, we got quite a few. I definitely probably won't be able to get to all of them, but like I don't want to keep on droning on this part, but if you do send a super chat, I will get to it no matter what. Just mention your Discord usernames, and I will look for your submission in here in this review submissions channel. Okay, continuing on. All right, ScottyZen.com. I like the domain name. Sorry, I have to drink water. All right. So first thing, this Z letter mark, I think is just kind of thrown over here randomly, especially when we're looking at the edges of this container. It starts right here and it ends over here, but look where this is. This is kind of, they're both pushed in. It's like they're different width containers. Whatever's containing this versus this. I could probably get this contrast thing out here, hit inspect, and it'll just outline this for me if I could figure out. Okay, it is going all the way out, but I think this right here, this element should be pushed to the left. This whole menu right here should be pushed to the right, and it will help frame your layout more because you have this big container down here. All right, so let's continue on. This web designer and developer text, I think it would change that up. I'm not a fan of this sans serif or this serif font being mixed with this sort of script font. I think you could do the designer thing. I understand the idea behind it, but I think it would make this unique type of font or this type stick out in contrast even more if you just use a real simple, lightweight sans serif font. So something like Montserrat, the font that I'm always using in my tutorials, at a light version, like maybe like 300. And this would stick out better. Maybe, possibly, because nothing else is occurring here, there's quite a bit of white space. Just shrink it up just a bit on the top and bottom so we can bring up the primary content more into view. All right. So this, I like this. We can see a slight watermark where it says about me. That's, you barely see it, but that's kind of what you want for that sort of thing. The type works. I like it. See how these contrast better, and this is sans serif type as well. So that works well. The contrast, you're probably really close on that. Let's check. Let's do inspect here. Yeah, it is acceptable. If we came down a little bit, it would fail, but you're right on the cusp, so you're fine in that regard. This works. Again, quite a bit of white space here. Might want to shrink this up a bit. Recent work. All right, this is all good. You have a nice headline that's separated visually from this type, both in font weight and scale. Works well. Nice icons. This works well. Good. Overall, pretty solid. Just some minor things in terms of alignment that I would say you would benefit from adjusting. All right. So let me check this. All right. All right. So next we have. Oh, let me check my my answers. See if people are telling me to turn. Okay. All right, I think it's just barely noticeable. I'll leave it there. All right, so continuing on. The next one is Crasty 01. All right, all right, no comments are left there. All right, so we have a lettermark logo here. Type here, or navigation rather, very simple. Might want to push this down, this container from this, just a little bit. I don't know, it feels a little bit cluttered. One issue I could tell you right now is the contrast here. It's not enough. You could improve it possibly by making the font weight bold, but if we're solely talking about color, and I inspect this, I could tell you right now it failed. So if I hit auto, you have to come up just slightly. As you can see, it kind of pushed the values up just slightly. Outside of that, I would definitely maybe make this a little bit larger as well. The call to action works. Coming down here, we have kind of like a thumbnail based or card based gallery. This works. This is pretty solid. I like that. All right. This is it seems like I may have reviewed this page before. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, overall simple, getting a lot of stuff right. Definitely. Just some small minor things based on what's currently here on the site. You may want to give yourself definitely more white space between these containing this right here and this element on the top and bottom. Maybe push things out just maybe about 3 times as much as currently is here at least. All right, thanks for that. All right, I'm okay, and I've just started UI designing. Please review some of my work. All right, so we have a dribble portfolio. All right, so I'll take a look at a couple of these. All right. This looks solid to me, just looking at the design of this this layout right here and what you have in here. I mean, if you just started, you're definitely doing a lot of things right. That's for sure, especially if you're a beginner. I'm going to check this one out. This right here, solid. I can see that you do like to use outer glows. This is almost a little bit too much, I think, up here, because you have quite a radius extending out. I would probably shrink that up. You could definitely obviously get away with removing it entirely, but then we're kind of getting into the realm of subjectivity. You could definitely have outer glows, but it seems like it might be just a bit too much. But outside of that, everything is pretty solid here. Maybe adjust the line height between this so it's a little bit closer together, but other than that, yeah, this is solid, especially from somebody who's been doing this, who's new to design. Looks solid. Good stuff. Keep on going. All right, designed and prototyped a landing page for a fashion brand. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Let's open this up. This is a Marvel prototype, I believe, link. All right. All right, so when fashion hits the road. This is solid. I like this. We have some sort of interesting logo here. Wait, no, that's not a logo. That's the menu. Okay, I noticed this is the logo right here. Okay, it's interesting. I've never seen this sort of icon for a menu before. Looking at this though, I like the image right here, the photograph. I definitely using a lot of unique type. We have mixing of this type of. I'm not sure if you would refer to this as it's almost like a script, but also plus sans serif type of font with serif, and this works pretty well. I like it. Coming down, definitely a unique sort of layout occurring here, but it's all pretty solid. Everything contrasts well. The type definitely works well. Quite a different styled type, which really contrasts well with the supporting text down here. Nice, works well. Good. This is very solid. Yeah, there's not too much I can really say that's going wrong with this. Awesome. All right, thanks for that submission. All right, so the next one is here, FlyTech Home. All right, so let's refresh this. All right, interesting animation, very subtle, happening on the background element. So if you could see, it kind of comes and kind of scales in a little bit. I like that. Initially, I like this kind of just an interesting sort of, it has your name here, what you do, but then it really falls apart though when it comes to the navigation. These buttons are quite hard to see. They're very small, kind of like an afterthought, and I would definitely change that up. Probably stick with the same type that you're using here. Put those in the buttons and make the buttons larger, and try to emphasize one or over the other. You always need to try to, you have to prioritize, essentially. You know, what page is it that you think your potential visitors, your potential clients, or whatever it is that you're doing here, obviously your software developer, you need to figure out which page you want them to see the most. That's going to be your primary call to action, and then you can have other secondary call to actions. And you use visual hierarchy to establish that prioritization of where you want them to go first, second, or third. And so you do that through design by really emphasizing through color, scale, contrast, all those design fundamentals. If you want it to be about, or if you want to see your projects or your skills, whatever you think is most important. You probably want people to hire you. That would get in touch. That would probably be one of the most important things in my mind. And make a nice big call to action that people can get to. All right. So thanks for that. Also, a lot of times I know that I can click on around different pages, but I want to get through as many reviews as possible. So I won't do thorough reviews like that unless somebody does a super chat. I'll do a little bit. I'll spend a little bit more time. All right. So the next one is where am I at? That was MAT. Oh, here we go. Don't want to skip anybody. All right, I'm going to pause here just for a second just to check the YouTube chats, make sure everything's good. Oh, great. Got a super chat. Nice. All right, well, anybody sends a super chat, I'm just going to go straight to them, to their review. But don't worry, Rafa, you are next after that. So what was this person's name? What the hell? I've never used the search here. And apparently I don't know how to use the search here on Discord. There we go. Open link. All right. All right. So let's close that one out. All right. So we have a notice here. All right, MakeStoryboard beta. I like the logo, very simple. The navigation, this works here, very simple once again. Now we have like a hero section here with a photograph that's in the background. You know what I would say? Take the opacity down more so that this type here contrasts even more. It's still a little bit too difficult to read, just because this is there's still quite a bit of contrast present, even though there is opacity, I could tell, that's been applied to it, but apply more opacity to that to make it a little bit more transparent with a darker background behind it, like a black or something. I could see that you did add to try to combat that, you added a glow, like a background or a text shadow behind it, but I would get rid of that, but just make this darker so that it's more of an afterthought, and this would contrast more. The get started for free, pretty solid. You might stand to make it just a tad bit bigger, but it's pretty good as it is. One thing throwing the colors off a little bit is that you're using this hue right here. This is like a turquoise, sort of darker kind of green here, but then we have something that's really sticking out. I don't know. I think maybe I could see you definitely wouldn't want to use this color here because it wouldn't contrast enough with the background. But maybe make this a little bit lighter, and you could possibly use the same ones here. I'm not sure if I just like the green. Maybe a secondary color would work because these are kind of close together, so it's just throwing me off a little bit. This next section down here underneath the hero section right here is right up against it. You gotta push that down. Notice like the amount of white space between here and here, that's how much you should have on the the desktop resolution. That's how much space should be existing, because things are just cluttered right up against that container. So push that stuff down. All right. Also, for create storyboard in this type in relation to this thumbnail right here, you could probably push it over a little bit more. I've actually probably 3 times as much as it currently is, just to give even more white space. And the goal is to separate these elements and make it very easy to see them. When things are pushed together like this in different ways, vertically and horizontally, it throws off the layout. It doesn't make it look great, and it makes it a little bit hard to follow. See, like this one right here in relation to the one where it's right aligned works a lot better. And also, you can see how tall this is. I would probably, you could get away with centering this vertically. That way there's not a lot of empty white space here. So again, same thing, push this over, push it down a little bit. All right, so where it says available for all devices in this graphic right here, you have this container, we can see, and then right up against this container is this big, large, these devices, the monitor and the phone and tablets and laptops. Scale that down so it has room to, so it's really, I want to say room to breathe, essentially, or there's probably a lot of different ways to phrase this, but it looks bad and cluttered when you enlarge it so much so that it's right up against this. I would personally get rid of the container entirely and then just have this in your regular background and scale it down a little bit. So that's what I would do. Make your storyboard now. Type could probably use a little bit of tidying up here in terms of getting this closer together. And also notice how there's inconsistent white space from the top of here and then to the bottom of here. So bring this down and try to make them, equal white space or padding essentially on the top of this and the bottom of this text right here. And then these minute, tiny changes to your layout will really make it come together much better. And it's hard to develop that eye though when you're starting out or you're intermediate maybe. It's hard to develop and see these things. It's funny because you look at other people's designs and you're like, wow, that looks great. Why can't I produce something like that? Well, it's because of these tiny, minute details in terms of design fundamentals, and really that really brings together a design. And so subconsciously, you just know it's great, and consciously, obviously. But producing it, it's another story. It's kind of like music. Like I've been playing tons of guitar lately, and everybody can recognize great music, but can you play it? No. Same thing with design. But no, there's a lot of things happening here that is correct, that you're doing well. I think your biggest issue happens to be alignment and aligning things. Contrast and all that stuff is pretty solid on here. So thanks for that submission and the super chat. All right, so let's see here. Rafa was next. Come here 1 second. All right. Okay. This looks like possibly this is don't time me out. This looks like I haven't used Bootstrap for quite a while, but this looks very bootstrappy to me. So I kind of don't want to critique a Bootstrap template, if you know what I mean. I'll do it. I'll do this anyways, just to see. Maybe this next part's custom or something. Yeah, this does seem very bootstrappy or one of the frameworks that I've seen. Looking up here though, at this part, this is no. There's a lot of negative things happening here. So you have the S invoice, the company logo right here. That's fine. But then right next to it, you've put this green user and you're mixing serif with sans serif, which can be done if you do it correctly, but it's not done correctly here. So stick with all the same font. Also alignment, you can see user is just sitting up here a little bit higher than the baseline of this type right here. That throws things off. I know it's very minute. It's only off by about 8 or 10 pixels, but it'll throw things off. And you're also mixing different UI elements together, and you're pushing them all together, and it creates this big cluster FUCK right here. Normally I do swear, but I don't. There's so much demonetization occurring with YouTube. I'm not even going to screw around with that. Anyhow, so some of this stuff it would be a good idea to push to the right. Push to the right side. Maybe put this in a container. And this you don't have to, like in the same type of container here. Then you have the logo right here, and then you have right aligned over here is some of the other stuff like resources, and all that. Put cursor pointer over this log app button as well. But this is just, there's not enough design here really happening for me to critique much more. So I think I gave you some food for thought for this navigation, so you can at least fix that. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, let me go here anyhow. Okay, well I got a URL not found, so sorry about that. I cannot review unless I want to review the not found page. No. All right, so here's the next one. All right. I live in Ohio, United States. It sucks here. All right, so yeah, not much for me to really critique here. Like the background, sort of reminds me of my days trying to get into digital landscape concept art. It works well. This contrasts well. Obviously, it's maximum contrast being white on almost black. Navigation works, and the logo looks interesting. But yeah, not enough. I mean, what you have, it works in terms of basic design fundamentals. But there's just not much, obviously, for me to give any type of elaborate review. All right, we already did that one. That's a super chat. All right, it's designed for an audio equipment store. Index and a products catalog page are ready to be checked. By the way, we're at 38 minutes already. That went really, really fast. So I'll be doing this probably for 22-ish more minutes, 25 minutes. And again, we have a lot of submissions here. I may not get to them all. If you want to ensure that I do get to them, you can send a super chat in the chat, which is right here. You click on that money icon, send over some money, mention your name. All right, and the only reason I'm mentioning this multiple times is because people do filter in and out of this live stream, and I just bit my tongue. All right, so what is happening here? Am I missing content or something? Or oh, it's still loading. That's the issue. I was gonna say, if you design this, we got some major issues. All right, I can see now. There's a photograph that is. Wonder why it's going so slow. Wonder if this is like a massive, really large file size. I'm imagining there should be type here though, and whatever is loading, it's waiting to load this graphic. What I will do is let this sit for a while, because there's obviously some sort of server issue or connection issue, and I will go to the next one. I'll come back to that. All right. First of all, let's refresh this and watch what happens to this this graphic right here. Refresh. Come on. What is happening there? Come on, damn it. Well, initially we had a this animated in, and it kind of looked strange because you could see the edge, the bottom and right edge of the graphic kind of just showing. I would remove that animation entirely. Maybe just leave it as it is or fade it in or something, but don't do it through animation. Your navigation over here. All right, so several things I would first get rid of is the shadow right here, the dark shadow. Just completely get rid of it. And the colors are, it's strange because you have on here, I'm not sure if this is a solid, this whole panel is a solid color. And then this over here, we see there's gradients being worked in, and they're around the same, they are the same hue it looks like, but different lightnesses. It doesn't seem like the colors are really working well together. You can do this sort of thing where you have, you know, a background for your navigation, but only if done right. And I think they contrast too much. For instance, if you take a look at Discord, you can see how they do the same thing. They have a sidebar here, but notice how quite similar they are in terms of contrast. They don't really contrast too much, but it's done correctly. So I would take a look at UI design inspiration sites to get just a more solid idea of how to work with colors in terms of structuring user interfaces like this. About the actual nav itself, there's not enough contrast here. So if we get that contrast plugin and I inspect this element right here, wait, oh, it didn't work correctly. Oh, because it only got the hovered version. I wonder if I can pick this over here. There, it fails. So this color right here against this background color fails in terms of having adequate contrast so that people can actually see it. So if I hit auto, it needs to be white basically for it to contrast enough. So make all these white. And also the fact that you're kind of pushing this in, the one selected, it kind of just throws off the flow of the navigation. So maybe just have an underline, keep it right here. All right, so we can see we have some interesting sort of animations. It's a little bit jarring. I prefer when it comes to page transition animations to make them a little more subtle. So less goes a longer way. All right, so that's what was happening. So I would not make it scale from such a small area, maybe about 80% of where it's at, and don't make the animation come in and bounce in and out. Just make it really subtle. You can use easing to make it really, you know, fall in well. This is how you can reach me. Again, that's not enough contrast. Make that white. And just try to get some other ideas. I mean, when it comes to these UI design gallery inspiration sites, you can sort. Some of them allow you to sort by the type of UI, like contacts and like contact pages or forms or whatever. And try to see what, you know, the really good designs are doing in terms of structuring this type of content. Because this, I would rework this section right here, definitely. So that's just something to keep in mind. So keep at it though, and you will definitely get to a point where you want to be. All right, coming up next is Maj. All right, we're at 43 minutes. All right, who's next? All right. All right, next one up. All right, I'm gonna refresh this. Oh, before I get to this, yeah, so I'm not really sure what's happening here, but nothing, I don't see any type. I'm not sure if that's, this is intended, because obviously if it's intended, that wouldn't make sense. There's nothing happening here. It seems like something should be loading, but it's not. Outside of that, from what I see here, we have the navigation works pretty well. I like it. Coming down, I don't know what is happening here. It seems like assets were not loaded. So I'm sorry, I can't review it. So, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that wasn't intentional. But looking at this next one, 1 second. All right, there. I hid the gray hacker. Okay, so now we have an issue with contrast here. So we can see based on where I'm currently at with the orientation of the browser, how it's maximized, that this type right here, when it's coming out, is behind this darker part of the cloud, and so there's not enough contrast for you for the eye to really catch it. So what I would suggest doing is taking this background and really fade it out behind with a black background. You can still have it, but it's contrasting too much. And then I would take this and make this type white when this becomes darker. And then this would also be more visible as well as a result. So dev thoughts, navigation, this works pretty well. I'm not too sure about the icon right here. I would probably drop the icon. You're probably using, are you using icons for, no. Yeah, drop the icon there because the other ones don't have icons. It doesn't really make too much sense. So just keep it simple, get rid of that. All right, coming down here. All right. I'm always a fan of when you have two columns. I talk about this all the time. When you have two columns and then there's type in one of the columns, either right or left, I'm always a fan of left aligning it or right aligning it if it's on the right, as opposed to centering it. That's almost on the realm of subjective preferences, but I think it really does look a lot better and it flows better with a two-column orientation right here. Outside of that, the contrast right here is good enough, so it works. This part down here, it's kind of hard to follow. You have this line right here, and it just kind of adds unnecessary complexity to the design, so I would get rid of this border right here completely. I would also notice how much white space you have between this element, and that works because you have this big sort of graphic right here, which, by the way, I would scale down maybe to like here to here, so it's not so big. It's unnecessarily large. And then I would increase the white space from this container to the top of this text right here, so it has more room to breathe. Same thing with the bottom of this and this once you make this smaller. All right, so this is a lot better. We can see how this contrasts so much better than this up here. Especially when you hover over it and it's blue, you can barely even see it then at that point, so I would get rid of that. But notice the contrast here compared to the contrast here with this type overlaying a photograph background. It works much, much better. So just something to keep in mind. All right, so thanks for that submission. We got another super chat, so from Richard. All right. Let's see here. All right, Richard, did you mention where your name is? Well, let me look real quick. I'm just looking for someone named Rich. Yep, right there. All right, I'm gonna do his next because he did a super chat. Yeah, if you guys do send a super chat, make sure you mention your name, your Discord username. All right, I'm gonna hit OK. All right, we're at 48 minutes already. So again, if you do want me to review yours, send a super chat here in the browser right there, and I will review your thingy. Yeah, your design. All right, so we have a logo up here. I would rework this. You can barely see the tagline of the logo. I'm not sure if you're able to do that if this is a client logo, but definitely suggest increasing the size of that or dropping that off entirely. It's too hard to read. This up here, that works. It's a little bit close together, these elements, these nav items, so maybe space them out just a little bit further. One issue here is contrast. With this type of, I like this color. But the yellow on top of it, it seems like it's a little bit hard to see. It just kind of almost hurts the eyes in a bit. So I would experiment with maybe different colors, or going white entirely, maybe with making the type this background color or something like that. It just seems like there's too much of a clash occurring here. Outside of that, good headline here, which works. Coming down here, good amount of white space between this element and the bottom over here, so that works. Let's keep on going. All right, I like this. I like this graphic right here. Yeah, a lot of white space here happening. The type works well. Good separation of visual hierarchy with your icons, this type and then this type. Maybe push this down a little bit further. There's uneven white space from here to here, so push it down a little bit more. It'll help solidify this main area as well and give it space. This is good. All right, this section, it's pretty, there's a lot of stuff included here, but I'm sure some of it you can't really leave out because this is quite lengthy. Even here on my 1920 by 1080 monitor, it's like it's barely even fitting it in. To figure out if there's a way possibly to condense vertically some of this content. Outside of that, looking at just the design, it looks pretty good in my opinion. This is good. Yeah, just again, that background color needs to contrast more so in some manner. But yeah, this is all pretty solid. Nice. This reminds me, I immediately got the impression that this is here for SEO purposes possibly, just because there's a lot of text happening at the bottom. But yeah, this is all pretty solid. So thanks for the super chat. I'm going to continue on here. Oh, we got another one. Ethan, I wonder if you submitted your... Oh, you did. All right. I'm going to check that one out. I'm probably going to run a little bit longer than an hour today, but not very much. All right, so this is the other super chat that was sent in. Let me take some water here. All right, let's refresh this. Oh, we got an SVG-based animation occurring. Interesting. Okay. So one issue is, and this doesn't have to do with design, it's more about user experiences. Where do I go from here? Usually there needs to be an intended direction or a call to action, as it's called, for the user to take. Now, of course, scrolling down seems obvious, but usually if you want people to scroll down and that's the action you want them to take, put one of those little scroll icons or something, or a button down here, or put just a regular button call to action about read more, and it could be an anchor which will make the page scroll down or something like that. All right, so let's check out some more of this. All right. You could get away with doing this background right here. We have custom and then text and then the angled line occurring here. With just that. When you're doing it with this though, it's cluttered and it makes it more difficult to read through this right here. So if you want to do this sort of thing to be creative or whatever, I think it's okay to do it with this type right here, but only that type. You would have to figure out another way to put this information in a different area or a different context, or put it in a container of sort with a background that would work well with these colors, because this is kind of hard to pull off if you're trying to do something so unique like that. I think it works with this though, but this section it kind of falls apart because it'll definitely, it gets quite cluttered down here visually. All right, so next up, services. The whole soft shadow background thing, I would get rid of that. Only if it's very subtle. Like you see this in Google's material design. They have on their cards they have backgrounds, but they're extremely subtle, only like 2 pixels or something like that, where it's barely lifting off the page. This is more old school implementation of background and box shadows and such. So outside of that though, another thing, notice how this type right here is really there's not a lot of white space around the containing element or padding. You need more padding inside of this container so that this is easier to read and it has more room to breathe. So add padding to these elements for sure. And this, obviously all of them equal amount. Oh, that's interesting. I do like that. Very cool. Again, when it comes to this background, you know what I said before. You could probably scale this down so it doesn't touch this background, and I would definitely do that. So this clutter isn't occurring right there. But I do like this. That is cool. Also, same thing here. I'm not sure if it makes sense to have it going on this angle right here. I like the use of the colors. These are the colors I use primarily for Corsetro. The about section, I would separate. So when it comes to this type, you have 3 things occurring here. You have your name, you have your title, and then you have a description. The description versus the name and title, they do contrast enough because you're changing it by scale, so it's a smaller font, and it's also by weight. It's obviously regular. This right here, between your name and owner lead developer, you can separate it multiple ways, but I'll do font size. Let's see here. Almost like that. Now, of course, this pushed it down by changing the size, but now we can see things are separated out a lot more between this, and this. Before they were too similar, so it created an issue with what's called visual hierarchy. Finally, down here at the contact section, you may want to change the placeholder color so it comes out a little bit more. However, you already have titles here, so I would probably just ditch the placeholder value entirely for all of them, because these are all standard. People understand what you're asking for here anyhow. But yeah, other than that, you've done a lot of cool things with this. It has potential. It's just always the small details that would only take, an hour to integrate, but identifying those things, that's the challenge, and that comes with practice and time and really getting into UI and following all that stuff. Just try to immerse yourself into the industry and practice, obviously. So thanks for the super chat. We have another one. Wow, it might be my biggest super chat yet. Awesome. Said nothing to review. Thank you for all you're doing. Awesome. Thanks a lot, man. You just bought my drinks for tonight. All right. So going on, I think that took care of all of the what do you call it? The super chats. So let me find my place back in line. Where the hell was I? All right. I think I was at Dev Thoughts. Now somebody said that they sent me the wrong URL. Please review the one with the bad URL. I fixed the address. Okay, so Baba, hopefully your name's Baba in here. Don't worry, people. I know a lot of people are freaking out because an hour's almost up. I'll go a little bit over. Oh, maybe they updated. Do me a favor, the person who said that you fixed the URL, go and mention here in your YouTube chat your username and then resubmit it at the bottom, and I'll try to get to it. All right, so the next one is dpcoder.me. All right. All right, very interesting, very unique, which I like to see, because you see a lot of cookie cutter things, which works, but being real unique is interesting about this. This is very unique. I've never seen a menu quite done like this before. So let's click on it. Oh, I like that. Nice. Kind of like the slide out menu here. We can still see the other page, so it's like a 75% width here. This works very well. I like the colors used. It contrasts well. This is maybe a little bit larger for that because it's important information. Maybe just a little bit larger. Being very nitpicky, of course. This works though. Very nice. So let's click on menu and go to about. Interesting. Nice. I like this. We can scroll. Very nice type. It contrasts well. You're using colors quite well here. Front end development. I might make these maybe a little bit smaller and line them to the left instead of center aligning when you have the titles left align. But yeah, this is pretty solid here. I like this. Oh, there we go. Wait, slide. There we go. Very interesting. Kind of makes them hard to see. There's a lot happening here. I would maybe make the effect a little bit more subtle. But yeah, other than that, I mean, really good stuff here that I see. Some of the graphics, this one in particular for sure, it feels like it doesn't fit on this design. It seems like, I could tell, it looks like there's pixelation occurring on the end. So I would improve these graphics for the icons for sure. And then everything would really come together because I like what I see here. All right. Let's see. We're at 1 hour and 2 minutes. Well, if I skipped your site, it wasn't intentional. Hold on. Which one was your site? All right, I'm like looking at this section down here. Mention your username and let me know from Discord, because if I did skip it, that was obviously an accident. All right. Let's see if that person. No, nobody else submitted. Okay. All right, we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more, and what we'll do is, again, if somebody wants me to review their site, then just send a super chat, and I will do it. So I'm gonna do 2 more regular reviews, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so let's refresh this. All right, so we have an interesting animation occurring here. SVG line animations. This is one of those things where there's so little content there's not much for me to critique here, but for what is here, it seems like you should probably prioritize one of these over the other. You have GitHub, CodePen, and by the way, you should use cursor pointer CSS property value for this, and you should really have a primary call to action of some sort, whatever you deem the most important. Probably getting in touch with you is probably one of the most important things. And then, like if I click about, what happens here? Okay, interesting. So go back. But yeah, unfortunately, just it's not enough for me to really critique this. What is happening here is obviously quite colorful, so it kind of throws off. It's like there's no sort of consistency in terms of design, which isn't necessarily something you can't do. Obviously Google does it. But yeah, unfortunately it's just not enough here for me to really critique too much of what's happening. It's very simple, so you have simplicity down, but it feels like something more could be done. I'm not saying make it unnecessary necessarily complex, but something more for potential clients to see to really wow them. That's what I would say. Sometimes it is hard doing these reviews because there's just not enough for me to really review as much as possible. All right, so I'm going to do one more. We'll do this one. 2 of my design works for review. Okay, 1 animated, 1 static. So this is the last one. If anyone wants me to do theirs, you have to send a super chat through the chat, and I'll do it. All right, this one. Okay, let's see here. Twitch TV beautified. So this is a redesign of a popular website. Looks solid to me. Unfortunately, the resolution is so small, I can't really get a great gather. But from what I see, this looks very solid in terms of how the layout is structured and the type looks structured as well. Yeah, very solid. And what else? There's a second one. All right. So this is an app-based design. I like it. You can obviously tell that you're a more experienced designer. Let me reset this. There we go. Colors work well. You're getting type. You're getting visual hierarchy correct. Contrast was working quite well as well. So I might settle the effect of this gradient just a bit. It is quite, going from this hue to this hue right here is quite quite a lot. I might maybe make that a little bit more subtle, but outside of that, I mean, everything is solid here. Very good stuff. All right, so for now, what I will do is maybe for a minute, check out the chat area, and anybody who submitted down here, all of you people, wow, a lot submitted. Yeah, I kind of feel bad, but I usually only do these for an hour. We're already at an hour and 7 minutes. So I'll check out the chat for about a minute. If anybody wants to do a super chat, I'll do the review while I wait. All right. End of the week. Nathan, I'll check that out. Oh man, I'm tired. Tired. I'm going to go eat after this. Lunchtime, isn't it? Yes, 12. What do I do for a living? I do this for a living. Yes, I do. Yeah, I just have the YouTube thing, and I have my website, coursettra.com, where I sell courses, and YouTube's really exploded this year. It was only making me like several $100 a month through the ads, but then it just shot up to thousands, and now I have sponsorships, and very, very happy with that. Have you seen Scrimba.com? Yes, I have. Actually, the owners, the developers, had messaged me over 2 years ago. I think it's been about 2 years practically since when they were just starting, and they wanted to see if I wanted to do some tutorials on here. It's a very cool concept though. Scrimba.com is it's a live in-browser editor combined with it's almost like video tutorial, except it's not a video. It's really cool, so I would check that out. I wonder how big they've gotten. 60,000 Alexa, it's not bad. So they're getting several thousand visitors a day at least. Let's see here. Again, I'm done doing the reviews unless you send a super chat. I'm just answering some questions in the meantime. What else here? Can you please look for... Well, yeah, like I already mentioned. Do you do any consultant? No, I don't, not usually, but if people want to pay me, that's fine. Thanks. Great. What kind of car do I have? A piece of crap, basically. Now I have two pieces of crap. We have like a family van. You know, one of those damn minivans because I have two children. And then my wife's car is just like this junky car from like 15 years ago. I don't care about cars, honestly. I spend all my stuff on computer equipment and music, like guitars and stuff. I spent so much money on that stuff this year. My wife's gonna kill me. But anyhow, what plugin was that to check stats? Stats? Oh, you mean this over here. Where is it at? The Alexa ranking. Yeah, it's called the, I forget what it's called. The Alexa traffic rank extension. Yeah, it just gives you information about that, about websites you're currently on. Kumar, if that's the case, message me on Discord, and I'll tell you the PayPal if you want to do it. We could do that after or whatever. Do you have another review like this planned for the near future? Yeah, if you could look through my video history on my channel, my YouTube channel here, I do these once every 2 weeks on Fridays. So I used to do them every week, but it got too excessive. So, do you have another review? Yeah. How to apply for internship? Well, I don't really have internships. I'm not that big yet, I don't think. But you can always hang out at the Discord server. I'm always in it. I idle all the time and I talk. So there's people there. You hang out. List of your plugin in Sketch. I don't use Sketch. I am a Windows only guy, and a lot of people get mad about that. How can we convert Adobe XDCC to C# for coding? I don't think you can. What music genres do you like? A lot of metal and some electronic. Well, then go do it if you want to do the super chat. Oh man. Understand some people might not be able to. I think I did see the last Saw movie. AI integration with design. Oh yeah, design. Yeah. One of my sponsors recently, bookmark.com, says they're an AI design system, but I don't really think it's true AI. But yeah, this is obviously something that's going to be bigger in the future. I can play drums, yes. I program them though right now using Superior Drummer 3, which is awesome. Oh, nice, Canton. Yeah, I did the Akron Marathon team relay. When was this? 2016, so a couple years ago. My leg was 5.7 miles. I ran really fast, like a 7-minute average per mile. But I did just 3 weeks ago, I ran 26.2 miles, and I didn't go to a race. I just put this water backpack on, and I just ran. It was my first time. I only ever did a half marathon, and I was like, screw this. It's like a lifelong goal. And so I ran 26.2 miles. It took me 4 hours and 30 minutes, which is, you know, not bad considering. Let me see if I can find the stats on that. Log in here. Yeah, I'm gonna show, because I have this this app that I've been using for like 8 years when I run, and it tracks all of my stats. And I take selfies lately. I don't know why when I'm running. Oh, this is me right here. I ran 2,872 miles. Again, this is over years upon years. Let's see here. Reports. This year I ran 551 miles. Let me go to training. Let me find that. No, activities. Let me find that 26 point. There it is. Yeah, this is the 26.2 miles. So 4 hours, 35 minutes. I just ran up a bike trail and back to my van to refuel my water. And yeah, it wasn't easy. Here's all my mile breakdowns. I was starting at 8:30 pace, 8:38, 9, 9, and then it got slow. Some of these took a while though, because like this at mile 10, I had to go back and I had to put water back in my backpack thing, and yeah. And I did start to walk intermittently for like 20 seconds at a time every like third mile because I was fucking dying. Actually, I wasn't dying. I didn't hit the wall like people talk about, but anyhow, let's see here. Full stack tutorials, yep, definitely in the future. Yeah, I know they made it so that you can export XD to AE, After Effects, pretty easily. So that'll definitely be on the roadmap. An idea for you. House, you know, other people have done their office tours and stuff, other YouTubers, you know, especially, what's his name? What is his name? I can't remember. Well, the other a bigger YouTuber who does the same thing as me. He has an awesome like computer setup. I would have to clean, and it's not very impressive here. It's not. I have 3 LED lights. Here, here, and here. There's a green screen behind me, and then there's my desk. It's a pretty big desk, and I have a Wacom Cintiq 22 HD for one of my monitors, which I don't use as a drawing monitor anymore. I haven't done that in a long time. I have 2 24-inch monitors in front of me, and then that's about it. I'm in a bedroom that's converted into an office, and that's it. Yes, Brad Travers. That's who I'm thinking about. Yeah, he has a really nice setup, but I don't know. I'm dirty. I'd have to really clean up. I want to move next year though, so maybe when I do that then. When did I start web developing? Let's see. Yeah, like 1998 or something. It's been like 20 years or something. It's been freaking forever. 1997 even possibly. There's a video on my YouTube channel where I show my old design work from the late 90s. So if you go to my channel and do a search for 1999, you'll find that video. It's really funny. Have you used Framer X for web designs? Framer X, I believe, is only for Mac, so no, I haven't. They hit me up to be an influencer. I told them, once you guys put one out for Windows, I'll do it, but otherwise, no. I've never heard of Sonic Pi, but then again, I haven't been getting into this stuff too much lately. Talking about music, though, if any of you are interested in music, I did launch a second channel. Let me bring that up. You guys can check out the videos. I have like 5 videos. I'm putting out one today, or at least I want to, because I'm trying to do at least once a week. Let me go to that channel real quick, and you guys can see it. Let's see here. Yeah, I only have 67 subscribers. It sucks starting over with a new YouTube channel. The views come in like crap, but I understand though it's a process. I mean, I've obviously built this pretty large channel, but here it is. Yeah, it's me playing guitar, and I do backing tracks, and I'm just doing crap like that. It's called Slant. I did the logo. I covered actually some of the tutorials on this channel about how I created some like the landing page and stuff. Actually, you can check out the site too. I built a site, which it's still in the works. This needs pushed down, but I did this with Nuxt.js, as well as a Laravel backend for the API. But yeah, this is just me trying to generate emails, trying to make a business out of this in the future. All right, what's going on? Oh, I'll paste that link in this chat, by the way, for you guys to find it easily. There you go. Go ahead and subscribe. Oh, man. Can I get your PayPal email in private so I can do a super chat? All right. There we go. Let's go back here. What is your favorite wireframe tool, pencil and paper, or other software? Adobe XD. Yep, I like it. For a long time, I used Photoshop before any of the like Sketch or anything like that, and Photoshop is very capable of the design side of things, but obviously when it comes to animation and all that, I mean, no. But it is overkill. Photoshop's overkill. So many freaking features as a part of that. What framework do I like? Well, it depends on like what I need. I really like Vue these days. I do like Vue, especially if you need server-side rendering and all that stuff. Then Nuxt.js, which uses Vue, I like that a lot. Can you do more theory-based slant stuff? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Oh, yeah, I'm really getting into theory, music theory, big time. And that's going to be one of the things I do today, because I'm going to talk about how to write guitar solos and determine which of the modes, of the 7 modes that you can use based on the chord progressions. I'm not going to talk about too much of that stuff though. For guitar rig or ampli, I have a what do I have? I spent $2,500 on this amp. What the fuck? What is the matter with me? I cannot remember anything today. I mean, I had some alcohol last night, but I didn't get hammered. Jesus Christ. What is my amp's name? It's I'll figure it out in a second. I don't know why it's not coming to me. There's a way to find out what a website is made with. Yeah, there's a website out there called, it tells you stacks. Website stacks. I'm just going to type that in Google and see if it comes out. Stackshare.io, right here. So it'll let you know, like, what's Airbnb made with. Well, you can go down here and it tells you all the technologies that comprise of this particular website. So yeah, check that out. Thank you. Oh, slant. I switched accounts. That's why that says that. What are the basic technologies every web developer should know? Well, obviously HTML, CSS, and JavaScript first and foremost. I mean, that'll get you quite far. Secondary to that would be understanding things like you said, SAS, the preprocessors, and then getting into the frameworks like React, Angular, and all of that. I would say definitely understanding basic server admin as well. And yeah, and as an aside, from being a web developer, depending if you want to be a freelancer, you should understand basic internet marketing as well. Can you please explain about website UI design with all the measurement and everything? I'm not exactly sure. That's kind of a loaded question. So I explain all that stuff during the reviews that I do. Oh, my amp is a Kemper, by the way, a Kemper Profiler. It is awesome. Definitely check out the YouTube videos on it. It emulates pretty much any amp that a profile has been made out of. And it's a hardware based, it's a physical amp. It is so awesome. I'm not going to go into much about it, but how old were you when you got a job as a web developer? Man, I remember being 15 and I used to make these AOL progs. They called them programs back in the day that would punt people offline and use Visual Basic to create them. It was just annoying things. Like it just annoyed people. I also made chat room scrollers and stuff, but it allowed me to understand how to start software development using Visual Basic. And some guy from AOL hit me up. He was an older dude, and he was impressed with the progs that I made, and he offered me a job for $30 an hour. Doing Visual Basic coding. Now I know that's not web development, but that was when I was 15. But he hit up human resources from the company he was working with, and he said we can't hire a 15-year-old, so that kind of sucked. But outside of that, I never had a real job. I've always been freelance, so I always took I did when I first started out, I would get a project here and there, you know, based off of webmaster forums that I hung out on. People were always looking for work. I'm not sure if that's still a thing these days when it comes to forums. I mean, Facebook groups have like, and Reddit and social networking has kind of taken over. But I actually did adult design for a while. I'm glad I got it out of that because that got pretty gross after a while. And then what did I do after that? Oh, I got into, I released a logo design tutorial, and it hit frontpagedig.com, dig.com, which was a huge, the first of its kind, really, a social kind of bookmarking community. And I got on the front page, and that gave me a ton of traffic. It ended up me ranking in Google for logo design related keywords. So I started doing logo design. I was getting an order a day for about 4 or 5 years. And then I also did sites for them as well. So I made really good money for quite a while doing that. And then I got into the YouTube channel stuff and instructing and creating courses for other networks and all that. But I'm digressing. All right, let's see here. I don't know why, I'm just hanging out way past longer than I normally do. I don't usually do this, but my throat's not hurting yet from talking too much. So again, if anybody does want me to do I wonder if he sent over the thing. All right, I got the money. Well, I probably, one second here. No, get off there. I don't want you guys seeing my email. Damn it, how am I gonna get this off? I'm gonna take his word for it. I'm just gonna close this. Oh shit. That wasn't cool. Ha! All right. So, go ahead. I will do this review real quick and we'll get going. All right. So now, looking at this. All right, so this is kind of, I don't know. I might want to bold this up, your name, and that would separate it out from the rest of the text. Otherwise, it's good. This over here, you have your name here, but it's so you can barely even see it. It's almost like a watermark. I like these icons. I'm not sure about making the hovers different though. Maybe just using the same colors would work. Admin panel, okay, that simple enough. It works. It contrasts. I'm not too sure about the color contrast right here. It almost might make more sense just to get rid of this section right here and just use this anyhow and just make this more simple. The cards, I like the cards. Now, like I had mentioned before, somebody else had these card-based layouts and they were using drop shadows like this. This is done more effectively because they're so subtle that you can barely see them anyway, so it works. I like the cards, but I would almost say it would make sense for sure. You have the icon center align, then you have left align these two elements, but then this comes back to being center aligned. I would center align these. That way everything is centered and it works. Sorry. God damn my throat. I don't even want to drink this water because there's like nasty flakes all in it. What the hell is going on? All right, so center align those. Oh, okay, so there's not much more else for me to check. Let me see if these go anywhere. I can't read what they're saying, but it seems like this might be like a template of some sort, not fully finished. So what you have here for me to review is solid. You're getting a lot of the fundamentals right for sure. Just a couple alignment issues really that I would say would help with this. These I assume are just potential placeholders for projects, potentially I would assume. Oh wait, no, okay, we have some more. We have more design. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading, obviously. So checking this out for this layout. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, there's small, very small things to critique. Obviously, there's like a margin or padding occurring at the top of this, and it's pushing it down. So we have this amount of white space from the bottom of this element, and then this amount of white space at the top. It's uneven, so just try to get that evened up. But from what you have here, everything is quite solid. So yeah, definitely. Thanks for sending whatever amount of money that hopefully you sent. So, oh man, I can't believe I showed my damn. What's adult design? Yeah. So, how web designers create websites in these times? Yeah, it's Photoshop's pretty much no longer used. It used to be the de facto software that you use to design websites, at least mock them up. And then create the HTML and CSS, but no, Adobe XD, there's so many others. 2018 was a massive year for prototyping tools. There's just so many of them to choose from, which is a great thing because competition really spurs creativity and innovation and better pricing and all that stuff. But XD has come a long way for experience design. What else has come a long way? Yeah, Ashley Madison in my inbox. I get so much porn spam email, it's not even funny. And that's not because I visited porn sites. My email is a very old email, so, oh man. Let's see here. How web designers design websites in these. Okay, you already said that. Okay, need a few extra. Because it makes life a lot easier. Why use a framework like React over Vanilla.js? Depending on your needs. I mean, if you have something that's really simple, like a simple landing page to capture an email, you can get away with obviously just vanilla JavaScript. But you know, a library or library like React or frameworks like Vue and Angular. If you really want to do something more complex, if you were to do that in pure vanilla JavaScript, it would be very difficult. Yeah, I haven't done PHP since forever, but I probably will do one on Laravel for sure. Yeah, good question. How would you combine two HTML and CSS templates together? Yeah, I'm not really sure what you mean by that question. There's you can, I believe, concat them to that you can use as an npm package as a part of your build tool that would do that for you. Fender Strat or Gibson Les Paul guy. Right now I have an Ibanez. Really into the shredding stuff. But I'm looking into getting a new guitar. Sweetwater.com headquarters is 4 hours from me in Indiana, and I think I'm going to make the trip down there. They have like freaking every guitar imaginable. I have to play a guitar before I buy it. So I have like I think I'm willing to spend about $2,000 here. Will I make a video on how to create a simple minimalistic design in HTML and CSS? I think I've done that probably multiple times. If you look throughout all my 500 to 600 videos on my YouTube channel, you should be able to find several. Favorite e-commerce platform? I haven't used one in a long time. My favorite billing processor I think would be Stripe, although I haven't really researched the latest alternatives. As for website reviews, just gonna have to wait for 2 weeks later, or go to the Slack chat and go to review submissions, and people all week are just other people give each other feedback, so just go there. Yeah, it is a good time to end the stream. Yeah. Yeah, there is. Depends on what it is that you want to refresh, I believe. There's I have a tutorial about Gulp Live Reload, I believe, so do a search for that. What do I say about drag and drop website builder versus coding itself? It depends on the context, and you know, if you're not a great designer, don't handle the design yourself of an important project. The only way you can get better at design is to design, of course, in which case I would say stay away from website builders, right? But if you have a website and a project that needs to be immediately put out there and you're not great at UI design, go the route of like a pre-existing template, or you could go a step further and make it more customizable by using something like Bootstrap or Foundation, because they're ready-made, well-designed components out of the box. But an actual website builder like Wix.com, perhaps, or something like that, I mean, it depends. I mean, some people, they're purists and they want to handle everything, but they're bad at design. In this case, if the design that they create looks like crap, then they would be better off using something like a Wix website builder. So, all right, well, what is it? It's an hour and 35 minutes. I'm just talking a lot now, so I think we're going to end this here, and we'll do this again in 2 weeks. Make sure to check out the Discord server where I can be found most of the, yeah, pretty much every day. So go ahead and check that out. All right, guys, I will see you, and girls, later.